Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a new cooking video for you in which I show you how to, well not me, my very special guest shows you how to make an entire Puerto Rican dinner. Don't mind if there's any background noise, I have a very full house at the moment. Without further ado, the woman, the myth, the legend, my mom! Okay. Woo. This is my mom.
The crazy Puerto Rican woman. I don't have an accent.
She doesn't have an accent. And if you hear any tapping in the background, it is Ojito, which is my family dog.
Wait, one
my mom's gonna get. And they're wearing matching sweaters.
Matchy. Oh, it's Ojito. His name is Ojito.
So what are we making today, Mom?
Arroz y habichuela y empanadas y plátanos.
In English.
Rice, beans, plantains, and Puerto Rican fritters.
So empanadas.
Empanadas.
Yeah, I think everybody knows what empanadas are. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so all the ingredients. What are the ingredients that we need today?
Well, the very first thing you always do is, we're gonna do all three things at once. And what we do is we use olive oil first, and then we saute all the vegetables. So it'll be green pepper, red pepper, onions, yellow pepper, and cilantro.
Okay, so just to recap. Cilantro, red pepper, 3 onions, a yellow pepper, a green pepper, 2 cans of tomato sauce, right?
Yes.
A can of pink beans, bone broth, and 3 packets of sazon and
In each item.
Okay, and garlic, olive oil, and ground beef.
Right.
All right, let's get started. We also forgot to add that we needed 10 empanada discs. So my mom is going to be adding.
It's called empanada.
Empanada discs.
So for the meat, you don't need olive oil, but for the rice, you just put about 2 tablespoons on the bottom of the pan. And the same thing for the beans, about 2 tablespoons. Okay, I'm gonna do the rice and the beans first, and then we'll do the meat for the empanada.
Okay, great. So again, everyone, I have a very full house right now. So you will be hearing a lot of chaos in the background.
You put about a cup of, that's not hot, a cup of onions in both. And then you put some green beans.
Those aren't green beans, Mom.
I'm sorry.
This is cilantro.
No, that's not.
Oh wait, no, that's
It's green.
it's green peppers.
What is those Puerto Rican?
Green peppers. Then red pepper. See, it's red. I'm saving some for the meat to make the filling for the empanada. And then some yellow pepper. So what I'm doing now is what I'm making is what we call the sofrito, the base for the flavor of the beans and the rice. And you just stir that up till the onions get clear. Alright, so then we add some salt and pepper, about a teaspoon of salt. So I usually measure in my hand. About a teaspoon, same thing with the rice. And then freshly ground pepper. One packet of sazon in each. And you mix it up really well. And it smells amazing. The aroma is amazing. Now, when you get ready to do the rice,
I want to turn these down now because this is
let me turn it down a little. I'm not used to cooking on electric. I'm used to cooking on gas. So I'm gonna let that simmer a little bit more. But for the beans, I do add a little bit of garlic. Some minced garlic here, about a half a teaspoon. And don't put garlic in the rice. And stir that up. So it's all very well blended. Nice pretty color.
I wish there was smell-o-vision on
Yes.
videos because this smells amazing. It smells like home. Back when you would make things when I lived at home. Because I've tried to make this on my own and I can never succeed.
So with the beans, this is the base for the beans. I add a can of tomato sauce. And then I add the beans. I don't rinse the beans. I use the whole can. And I use pink beans, but you can use pinto beans or black beans. Black beans are delicious too. And then I'll just add a little bit of liquid or water to this.
So how much water would you say that is?
A half a can. I use the can.
So half a can of water.
And you let that boil up, then you put it on low and you simmer. I am going to once it gets heated up, I'm going to throw a little pinch of cilantro in it and oregano. So for the rice, it's like this now, sauteing. So I'm going to add the rice to this now. I have 2 cups of rice.
2 cups of white rice, which you've rinsed, correct?
Yes, it's been rinsed. I always wash my rice.
I don't wash my rice. Sorry, Ma.
No, that takes away that starchy taste.
I also heard that it takes away the nutrients in the rice.
It probably does, but it's just the Puerto Rican way.
Let me know in the comments down below, do you rinse your rice or do you just cook it straight out of the container? So now we're adding oregano. So this is good old-fashioned family cooking in which there's no written recipe, you just do it from memory. I have one that's already open.
It is open.
Oh, okay.
But I like to do everything in the palm of my hand, so there. And I always add my herbs with the liquids because the flavor is just better. You don't want to burn your herbs, so you put them in with your liquid.
That's what I'm doing wrong. I always burn everything.
Yeah, you don't want to burn your liquids. I mean, you don't want to
You burn your liquids.
You don't want to burn your liquids. Yeah, so you see how the rice is all covered up now? So then I will add, this is 2 cups of white rice.
Yes.
So I will use 4 cups of broth. This is chicken broth. You can use water also, which is fine. It just gives it added flavor. I'm going to save a little bit because I'll show you what I do to test if I have enough fluid. You're supposed to take your spoon and if it balances, when it absorbs the fluid, I'm not going to put any more fluid because I have plenty. Once it stays standing up, and I'll show you, that means that it's ready to be covered. Now that I have this in here, it's going to boil. I'm going to add my herbs in this also. Done?
So we chopped up like a whole head of cilantro from the grocery store.
It's delicious. You can't never have enough cilantro in a Spanish meal. So the only difference between the two is that this has garlic, this does not. So I'm going to let this bubble up and let a lot of the moisture absorb in the rice. And when my spoon stands straight up, that means it's ready to be covered. Next we're going to make the meat for the empanadas. So we have a pound of ground beef. It's a very high grade, very low fat.
I got it from our local butcher. I also would like to get our ground beef from a local farm, but they weren't open this weekend. So I got that.
So I figured I'd start the meat while this simmers. This needs to absorb the moisture, and then we're gonna cover it, put it on low, cover it. Once this starts boiling, it's gonna thicken, and I'm gonna put it on low. So now that it's nice and hot, I'm gonna dump all the onions in. And I like it to saute with the onions. So now that the beans are boiling, so I'm paying attention to everything. I'm going to lower the beans, but I'm not going to cover it. So I'm going to lower it and cover it now. And you left that, and you do not open this for a half an hour. It has to be on low, and you don't want to release the steam that's in there.
So, babe.
Yes.
The last time you opened the lid to my mom's Spanish rice, what happened?
Oh, I got yelled at.
You got yelled at?
It's a big no-no.
It's a big no-no.
Yes.
Keep the lid on.
Yes, do not touch the lid.
Don't touch the lid.
Smells amazing. You just get the meat nice and brown, and just make sure you have little pieces. Okay, so now that all your meat is brown, you can start adding your stuff to make the sofrito for the meat. So you're gonna add all your peppers. So this green pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper. Put that back. We're gonna stir this up. We're gonna add some garlic, salt and pepper. About a teaspoon of garlic and a packet of sazon and some salt and pepper. To measure the salt, about a teaspoon of salt. Stir that up good. Oh, smell, it smells amazing. Now everything is blended and the juices are all running into each other from all the different peppers and onions and the garlic. You can smell it. So now what I'm going to do, because I don't want the juices to dry out or evaporate, so I'm going to add the tomato sauce, a whole can, a small can, 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and you stir that up. This is when I add a little cilantro. And a little bit of oregano. And stir that up. I am going to put a little bit of that broth because this looks a little thick. So you don't want it too thin because it has to simmer for a little while. It will thicken up as it cooks. I'm going to lower the temperature. Put this on low. And we're going to cover this and let it simmer for about 20 minutes.
We forgot also that we add adobo just to the meat.
Don't you dare. I'm going to check the rice. It's been a half hour. So I take the lid off. You see how nice it looks? And you fluff it with a fork. Perfect. Perfecto. You just fluff it. And the rice is absolutely nice, fluffy, and perfect. I couldn't have asked for it to be any better. So the meat is done, but we need the moisture to evaporate. So I'm going to put this a little bit higher. This is it, yeah. And let a lot of the juices evaporate.
And I opened up the empanada discs and I laid them all out, still on their little wrapper. You want the surface to be what you're working on to be really dry. And I just laid them all out, ready to go.
Just gonna leave it on here, and we gotta let the meat cool off because we cannot make them the empanadas when they're hot.
You're gonna want to remove from this.
So I'm gonna move this over to the side so it cools off. So as you can see, it's not soupy anymore. It has chilled a little. It's still very warm. And we have all the empanada dough laid out. I'm going to take a nice heaping tablespoon and place it on every single one.
Ojito, what are you doing?
Buy these pre-made, these little discs. You take them, they have these little separators, so it helps it not to stick. But this is a nice granite countertop, so it wouldn't stick anyway. But you take them and you pinch them together like this, all the way around. And then you turn it on the side and you seal it with a fork. You just press it down like you do a pastry. You do all of them like this.
So we used up most of the meat, and I took this pan again, my mom washed it, and I added oil, and now we're just waiting for the oil to heat up so that we can fry all the empanadas.
So if you just gently place these in, they are going to splatter a little, but that's okay. To cover them. If you have a deep fryer, it works better because you can just dump them in. But if you don't, then this is what you need to do. You need to kind of baste the tops of them. So you see how that beautiful that is? That is perfect. Put them on a paper towel. Watching my mom and I cook a traditional Puerto Rican meal and my dad making the empanada swim across the screen. I didn't see any of it, just a little tip.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and
yes,
leave a comment for my mom in the comments down below. And here's Jack, he's really excited. Thank you guys, love you, see you next week.
Bye.